Hey guys, welcome back to the continuation of this video tutorial for or about DevOps. We're gonna start talking today about branches. Well, branches are created in Git. Remember that we decided to use Git as our versioning system, and basically they provide us with separation, which means that you can actually work on something that will not affect anybody else. It also provides us with parallel continuation. That actually means that a developer can actually work in something that will not depend on what you're doing, and at the same time you can continue working on your feature. And it also provides us with execution isolation, which means that everything is going to run isolated from the other parts of the project. In order to better organize our code in our project, we're going to implement Gitflow. Gitflow basically stands for a way to organize your code in a certain fashion that's gonna be very easy to scale and to work in a collaborative way. Gitflow will start actually with a master branch, and this branch is going to have a children branch, which is develop. At the same time, develop is going to subdivide into features. Each feature will tackle a very specific part of the project. Those features will eventually be merged back into develop. And develop is gonna be basically merged back again into master. Master and develop will originate their own environments. The environment for develop, it's gonna be called development, and the environment for master is usually known as production. Yet there are some similarities between these two. There are also very a lot of differences between the two. In this case, develop is not gonna face the end user, while production will. And you can actually, do any mistake in develop, and it's not gonna affect anything in production, because anything that actually gets into production should be something controlled by certain business rules and unit testing and a bunch of other things. There is also another environment called station. A station is nothing more than a mirror of production, right? Which means that it has dependencies that are very, very similar to those in production. And the contextual execution for a station is pretty much the very same execution context for production. The idea with this is basically to replicate production as much as possible, so that we can actually move the code that's in staging to production without breaking anything, and of course without making regressions. Some of the dependencies that are going to be mirrored are, for instance, databases or any third-party service that needs to be mirrored in this case. There is also another environment which is basically originated from develop, the branch. In this case is development. And development is going to be basically your local environment. When you actually start working on something, or the developer local environment. And it can be considered as a sandbox, if you will. Where you can actually do any error, and it's not gonna affect anything because it's not in production. So basically develop is where you actually work. The very same happens with a station. The idea with develop is that you may actually want to replicate the environment, the execution environment for production as much as possible. Of course, it shouldn't actually be as accurate as staging, but you might actually want to try to emulate it as much as possible so that you can move from development to staging and from staging to production.